Hello, beautiful and beloved ones. This is Lorelei from the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions, and welcome or welcome back. And if you wonder about that strange title, these days I'm bringing you a message about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness for the whole planet after every other video. And this is the message video, so stick around to the end. And here I am bringing you Zhou Shen, Dalabengba. Here we go. Okay, so I think, just check me if I'm right on this. I think possibly this is a song that's usually sung by a woman, and that's why people are looking astonished at his singing it. You know, it's certainly a very sort of Asian song with an Asian beat and an Asian sound to it, something I'm not really used to, so it's a little different for me, but very cool. By the way, friends, don't forget I have my member tiers, so if you're interested in that, I've been furiously putting videos in there. You can check out the informational video on that. But let's continue and see what he brings to us more. This was suggested to me as one that he brings a lot of different stuff in. So here we go. Oh, he knows how to dance too. So I think he was bringing us the male and the female of that as well. And what's interesting is when they did the video, they have the people there. So I guess they're taking snippets from the audience and making them into like a little Zoom call looking thing. So that's also very interesting. Comment if you know anything about, you know, what they're doing there, or also about this song, right? And about, you know, what it's all about. By the way, if you're enjoying me, go ahead and give me a like. Later on, you give him a like. It's in the notes. And subscribe. Here we go. I mean, it sort of reminds me of rap in the sense that there's just a lot of words coming at you, you know, and you don't even have time to digest what the words actually mean. So I'm not sure about that. Here we go. Let's continue. I mean, I listen to also the beat of this thing, you know, and you hear the beat. It's a little bit of that kind of disco. I don't even want to say disco, but, you know, you've seen it in clubs and things like that, that banging kind of beat coming at you. I'll talk about that later. Let's continue. No, so I have no idea what the meaning of this is. I have no idea. That's how I always go now when I'm sick because and all this. I have no idea. You can put that in the comments too if it has a meaning. Oh my goodness! So there's some kind of maybe this was during the pandemic or something like that. Maybe that's why they had those. I don't know. Tell me about that in the comments. Well, but I mean, wild. That was wild. He had tons of energy, didn't he? He just had tons of energy. I actually have a headache from all that banging at me. It just like got me it was just overload for me. But certainly he had energy. He did a great job. Look at him singing in the male, female voice and all over the place. Wow. So thank you. This was fun. But I have to tell you though, guys, I'm not used to all that flash and light business and all that. It does that business plus the banging beat. Well, let's talk about putting this on my scale. Okay, my scale 1 to 10. 1 being very third dimensional, fear, pain, anger, suffering. And sort of frenetic, like energies, and then 10 being love, peace, joy, bliss. The energy of that is like, just like peace, harmony. It's a deep breath. That's a 10. And this one here, it's definitely not going into that realm, and that's not how well he did it, by the way. Let's be very clear. We're not talking about how well he did it because it was kind of fun, no doubt about it, but it's playing in a different realm. It's playing in a frenetic realm, almost like being like high on cocaine kind of realm. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Back in my younger days, I probably tried that once or twice, but it's like like that, and the lights are flashing and all that. So it definitely is not really too much lifting you up to the higher realms. And I don't even understand what he was saying there, really in any sort of, like, I don't a lot of times understand rappers. They just keep blabbing away and, so that's kind of what it was like to me. I just have to be honest to you, friends. I've seen some of his other things and absolutely love them, but this one, isn't really kind of my cup of tea because it's not really pulling you to the higher vibration, which I do like to listen to. It's kind of giving me a headache, I can understand. You can understand why people in these clubs and these bars that have this music going on all the time, they get into a lot of arguments and fights. And some of it is, of course, the drugs and the alcohol and all, but some of it is just that frenetic energy of the music. So this is a good example of a music that's bringing you an energy that may be kind of exciting, like I liked rock back in the day and all. It's kind of exciting, but it's also, not really raising you up. It's not bringing you to peace, love, harmony, and bliss, which is a whole nother energy. So if I have to say, like on a scale of 1 to 10, where this is, it's not negative. Like it's beautiful singing, by the way. He did beautiful singing, no doubt about it. It's not negative, like bringing in a negative, like harmful kind of thoughts or whatever like that I don't see in it. But it is a frenetic energy. So I'd have to go with maybe about a 4 on this one, on a 1 to 10 scale. And again, don't get angry because I'm just talking about, how much it pulls you toward third dimension or fifth dimension. And this is definitely pulling you a little more to the third dimension, which is fine. An artist gets to choose what he likes to do and do that. And for what it is, this was done spectacularly. So, Okay, friends, if you'd like to know a little bit about me, you can go to the About Me video here on this channel, which leads you to a little longer video about what I call my Forged in the Fire of 3D journey. And and also, I did a lot there. I learned a lot. I became a transformational coach and learned a lot about natural healing and all of that. So if you want to find out about that, you can go to the About Lorelei on Patreon, where I've listed some of the various things that I'm up to or that might be of interest to you. Okay, let's get to our message. The critically overlooked meaning of ask and it is given. So, you've heard that term ask and it is given, right? And I think it kind of resonates with many of us, like, let me pray to God and ask God to give me this or that, and then it's given, which is a little confusing to us, right? If you never notice, because when you pray to God, right, then you say, oh, I want this and that and the other. A lot of times you don't get that thing, right? You actually don't get that thing that it is you pray for. So how could it be that ask and it is given? How could it be knock and the door shall be opened, seek and you will find? Well, I kind of can understand seek and you shall find. I can understand knock and the door shall be open, because generally if you knock on the door of God, or any of the higher beings, whatever, angels or whatever, your higher self, they're going to open the door for you to communicate with them. They're going to open the door and, send you their love or whatever it is they do. And ask and it shall be given, not seek and you will find. Again, that seems to make sense, because if you're seeking for a thing, you're eventually going to find it, especially if it's connection to God or whatever. But this ask and it shall be given, it doesn't seem to make sense, because we ask a lot and it isn't given. What's going on here, right? I don't get it. I don't understand it, is what we often say, right? I don't understand. And then we make up all the reasons why God didn't give us this, that, or the other thing, right? You have to wait for it. It has to be the right timing. You have to, you have to learn a lesson. All these reasons why you didn't get the thing, right? And but still, it doesn't make sense, that ask and it is given. We still keep it around. We still think, oh yeah, ask and it is given. But we don't actually see that in concrete reality. It seems like we don't see that in concrete reality. But there's only one way to consider this, where you actually do see it in concrete reality happening all the time. You see, if you consider yourself as a divine spark of God, and you consider God as the greatest, biggest, most originating prime spark, right? He's this prime spark of creation, right? So what is God's way to ask for something? Does God say, can you please give me some light? It would be really nice if you could give me some light. Now, that's not the way God asks. See, the way God asks is he says, let there be light. Now, that sounds more like a demand, doesn't it? See, ask, maybe it's an interpretation problem, because ask sounds like, oh, please give me something. But what God is doing as the prime creator spark of everything is he's demanding, let there be light. Bring the light, bring it now. Okay, then. Okay, so maybe ask is meant to be taken in that sort of way. Now, if you look at ask, instead of ask as say it, demand it, say it, and it shall be given. Now that makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Because if you look at the stuff that we're saying out of our mouths, and I spent many, many years, helping people with this and changing it myself, changing the stuff out of my mouth. Because what I saw was, if you look at what comes out of your mouth, you almost always have that in your life. Oh man, I'm just so tired. You got it in your life. I'm sick. You got it in your life. I'm poor. You got it in your life. People, even things like, people don't pay much attention to me. You got it in your life. I'm not the best person at mathematics. You got it in your life, Now you might say, well, you just got that stuff and you're reflecting it. But in actuality, I can tell you from 20 plus years of doing and teaching personal growth, in actuality, if you shift the words out of your mouth, you get a different thing. In other words, if you start saying, I'm great at mathematics, suddenly you start to be good at mathematics. If you start saying, I'm always healthy, suddenly you start being healthy. If you start believing it too, believing it and saying it. Now, there are particular ways in transformational personal growth, which I do, and is one of my expertises, where you can collapse down a negative belief. And what springs up then inside of that is almost always a positive belief, like how it really is. So you can collapse down those negative beliefs you have about you are stupid, or you're not pretty, or whatever it may be, or the world is a dangerous place and all that. And what always springs up is a positive belief. And inside of that change of your way of thinking, things change completely. Now you start saying out of your mouth what is actually a good thing to have. You see? So if you think of ask and it shall be given, we have been declaring a lot of nasty crap, right? If you notice, we have been declaring, asking out of our divine mouth a lot of nasty crap, and it has been given. Absolutely. Almost always the nasty crap that's coming out of our mouth is given. And now what the trick is in understanding this whole business, that's what it's about. So I've got to stop declaring nasty crap out of my mouth that I don't really want. And I need to declare out of this powerful God spark mouth the great stuff that I actually do want. And I need to begin to shift my beliefs in that direction. The more you do it and the more you see it show up, the more you believe it. The problem is what people will do, and they'll get into a little bit of a conundrum, because they'll start saying some good stuff that they do want and declaring that, but at the same time, they're still saying a lot of crappy stuff that they don't want and declaring that, So when it really starts to shift is when just about everything coming out of your mouth is a declaration of what you do want. And then you find ask and it shall be given in a direction that you actually want. How cool is that? When more coming out of your mouth is what you do want, and way more, and you're not saying much of what you don't want, if anything, you try to get it all out of there, that's when you see ask and it shall be given showing up in a way that your life shifts in a positive direction, like way positive. You see? So I started saying way back when, wow, I'm a divine child of God, and then began to come in the connection. And I started saying, wow, I'm a self-confident, powerful woman, and then began to come in the self-confidence and the power. I began to say, I can have anything that I dream or wish of, and then began to come in anytime I dreamed or wished for something, the resources for that. It's like when I began to say that and only say that and never say the opposite, I began to say, I'm so incredibly healthy, and I began to learn about natural healing, and there's nothing wrong with me. And I'm of an age where there should be a lot wrong with you. Most people have a lot wrong with them at my age, you see? So this is the often overlooked understanding. I think maybe it's a translation problem. Perhaps when the original thing was translated, perhaps they didn't pick exactly the word. Perhaps they needed to say, demand, and it shall be given. Or declare, let's put it that way. That's a little even nicer word. Declare, and it shall be given. And you see that. And that's absolutely, I would say 100% coming true for most people, that what you declare is given. But since we want to leave a little room for error, we'll say almost 100%. Okay, beloved one. So here I am sending you that beautiful fifth dimensional energy, the love, the peace, the bliss, and the using your divine God spark mouth and brain to declare and believe and have everything that brings you joy, everything that you desire in this life. Coming at you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you.